When I left the swamp, I was glad. Despite it being an enormous area landlocked in Newport, I did not bother to explore. I took a route leading north, the shortest toward the pine forest.
Cool. Got some more reading to do.
Gray and I spent the last few days visiting the Courteval, my family's, in Paris. He and father discussed in private for many hours while I waited outside with my sister Maria. She and I could tell when Gray emerged from the inner sanctum. He was pleased with whatever he had planned with father. Afterwards we roamed the countryside, taking in the Napoleonic ruins and ancient villas and vineyards before retiring to Castle Hall for the night. Gray would not tell me what father and he discussed, but I can only assume it was partly due to the political shifts undermining the strain in France. Tension is growing diplomatically, but I do not bother myself with such formalities to fully understand.
Cool. So part 2 is definitely an improvement, simply because of the fact that I don't have to read every single little note we come across. And the voice acting is well done, which is good. It's more than I can say for a lot of mainstream games. And that's Invisible Wall Syndrome, so we're going this way. It's not really a syndrome. I don't know why I started calling it syndrome. Invisible Wall something? I don't know. Suggest a term for me. Something to do with invisible walls.
At that point I was reflective. How come life was so empty here, I thought. Why was it that despite such a mass extinction there were no bodies and very few creatures? It was as if life never existed on Newport, I fancied then.
Well, that place looks interesting. But I think it's just crates and, once again, impassable barrier conundrum. I really needed a good term for that. I think it's natural for me to say invisible wall syndrome for the purpose of this video, but hopefully in the future I'll be able to appropriate something a little bit more.
That small alcove of the larger forest interested me in more than one way then. Firstly, the houses were isolated, connected by a mere crossroad, with only one pass leading down through the rest of the pines into Newport Colony. Why were these people granted isolation from the rest of Newport? The answer eluded me for the longest time, but now I know about the Newport hierarchy.
Alright, well, interesting things are afoot. Is that stairs? Yes, they are. Well, that's a very, very dark house. And I can't tell if there's anything actually in here that I should be picking up. Well, if there is, I can't see it, therefore it will be missed. And we'll just move on.
When I left Marsh's house, I had the most peculiar vision, much stranger and more esoteric in suggestion than the last of the winter ones. I will tell you what it was, as I think it is relevant to you most of all. My memory of the jungle is as vast and clear as it was then, much more so than any others that have returned to me through your vile means. The memory is as clear to me now as it was then. I must have just awakened, the campfire still smouldering before my eyes. The sun was rising now, and the warmth of the jungle slowly began to return. I knew for a fact where I was, even when I first remembered it. South America.
Well, I was going to say Vietnam, but South America will do just fine. Let's read some more, yay!
Words escape me. Even now as I write, my hand shakes violently, acting as a physical representation for the emotions surging through me. My vision is getting sharper The past seems so dull in comparison to what we've just seen, what we've just found. Coming across the dig site, we found them. All of them. Dead. Bodies were scattered every which way, and, with a resounding stench, the executor of the massacre emerged and announced in a language too dead for you to understand. Announced that it was all set in motion. Before Gray could get down there, the man killed himself. But there was something off, something sinister beyond just the mortal obviousness of death. There, at the far end of the dig site, sunken into the marble cliff, was an opening.
How intriguing! Onto the fire with you! So we're gonna go look for a marble opening in a cliff. Sounds fun. Dun 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 dun.
What was I looking for? Well, Gray, I was looking for a pyramid located deep in the jungle. This information is trivial to you, but it will do no harm to tell you. I believed it contained an artifact I needed to find very badly. A scholar friend of mine, according to a diary I so distinctly remember in my tent at the time, was convinced that a civilization in South America had deeper roots to modern civilization, even over the English and Chinese. It was said that, simply put, an ancient form of firearm existed thousands of years before the bow. I was looking for one of these in a pyramid too.
That's pretty badass. Sprint function works a lot better in part 2 as well, so commendable on that. There's a much noticeable difference. Much more noticeable. Much more noticeable. My words are failing me. That's a cool waterfall. Let's go for a swim. Whee! I know. Hey! Scuba gear! Hehehe!
Unfortunately, I do not believe I found it, or at least I can't remember. My memory fades once I reached the summit overlooking the huge pyramid. If I had found such a device, I think that I would remember, don't you? What do you mean my perception is off? Looking at it the wrong way? What do you fancy I'm missing, Gray? Hold that thought. Despite my being fully unaware of my identity, I am convinced of my childhood, my memories and my morals being intact. I have a few theories, Gray, about my name, but I suspect before our night is over, I will remember with clear vindication.
I have a feeling by looking around too much, I'm going way off track from where I'm supposed to be. And I also have a feeling that I missed a book in here. Yeah, there's a book right on the table. I can't actually read it. Can I go outside and try and read that? Something Whedon. Governor Sidney Whedon. 3 rulers, the hierarchy and triumvirate of Newport are Alan Marsh, Obed Cunningham, and Edgar Gray. Each of us has accepted a governmental term of 10 years, at which a democratic re-election process will determine the new triumvirate. This charter goes into effect January 1st, 1930. Okay, so I guess that was what I missed originally. Mostly burnt up, can't really see what's going on. So am I heading back down to the village, or I keep going this way? Nope. Invisible wall syndrome says go back to the village, where one of the walls has fallen over. Where both of them have, in fact. So what's down here? Another really dark room. And a book. Ha! Reading. Fun. Today was the day I was indoctrinated into the Newport hierarchy through the brilliance and cunning of our leader, Edgar Gray, 10 years ago. I still remember the mist building in my eyes as he raised his hand and placed it on my forehead, blessing me with the rights of a true military leader. The look in his eyes was of trust, honour, loyalty, and sincerity. Of course, Obed Cunningham, would make the optimal Marshal of Newport. A dry throat. And here I write, 10 years later, that same mist returning to my vision. I now sit alone in the ruination of the once perfect Newport hierarchy, now defunct, alone as the only true upstanding leader of the old ways who remains. Edgar and Alan have long since left for the colony itself, choosing to govern through hands-on methods and politics. They have lost touch of their old ways, of the ancient methods of contact we had perfected. These 3 houses in the far end of the Runeberg forest should have stayed as the crown of Newport, but now it is a rotting testimony to better times long past. I shall confront Edgar Gray soon enough. That damned conniving bastard betrayed us all. Hadad, the lord of us all, has never ceased contact with me, and he knows. He knows what Gray is planning. On the fall of August, I was told Newport would fall. Okay. Not if I can help if... Not if I can help. Not if Marshal Obed stood against the tyranny working in the background like a serpent's poison. Okay. A bit grammatically weird, I think, but... good enough. So that's that house.
You may keep your opinions to yourself, Gray. Obed stood against you, and for what he believed in. You were a coward and had him killed. I know it to be true. How? I'll tell you later. Ah, yes. That was your house in the woods. Do you miss it? Your diary wasn't extraordinary. Your linguistics are basic, a trivial, almost peasant pencraft, matched by use of overly lavish paper. I think your false sense of entitlement and fame haunts you even now, Gray. Rest assured, no one is coming to rescue you. Not from me.
Whoa. January 2017? It's time travel! So much time travel! I wonder if I can read these. Nope. Good thing though, because there's a hell of a lot of them. Right. Gray's diary. I find it interesting that Alan Marsh is thinking of deconstructing and abolishing our work here as a hierarchy, despite us accomplishing so much. Instead, he wishes to return control to Governor Sidney, but I highly disagree with his judgment. That foolish old man is up in the swampy marsh end of Newport, and retired due to his fatal lung disease, his contraction of which I had no part in, of course. Obed has done a tremendous job of preparing our colony well with weaponry and devices for any defence or offence we might need to take, as rumour is fixing itself of a grand war brewing, and that Germany has been steeling itself for invasion. I am excited to hear of the conclusion of these rumours, and whether or not the German Empire is ready to rise again after its mistakes in its previous daunting undertaking and the fall of Prussia. Unrelatedly, Alan Marsh has been diplomatically admirable with the surrounding colonies. Providence, Newsburg, Camille, and Troy are all in trading route with us, and we have established fine relations. I, on the other hand, have orchestrated many dealings with the governor of Providence, Mr. Azaria Kerwin. Him and I share common interest in the creatures I have brought to our waters for protection, as well as locating and killing DC. That man has returned here to Newport, but none of my sentries have been capable of finding him. And what I have accomplished is truly beyond recognition or a layman's perception. Economically, diplomatically, religiously, and in all ways, I have blessed Newport with the gifts I have long known of. Surely, soundly, Newport will forever prosper under my guidance. Sure. There's another thing to read? Nope, that is all. Sweet. Onwards we go. Down the road to the ice cream store.
saw the greater forest. Within it stood a monolithic cathedral in ruins, proving that Christ is all but forgotten on this doomed island. I had intruded on a silence of decades by entering Grey, and uncovered secrets waiting to be unearthed. The dark, arcane secrets hidden within the rotted shelves answered many of my questions.
Did that rock just, like, spawn behind me, preventing me from going back to the town? Or did I come a different way? Mystical spawning rock adventures! What do we got here?
I was beset by nostalgia this morning, poring over pictures of Gray in my diary. I first met him in 1891. We were mutual students in a study on the more esoteric side of the siege of Limoges, and what could possibly have concerned the court to execute the massacre. I saw Edgar Gray standing in a striking teal blazer, met with a refined and studied white button shirt, complemented by black dress pants. His dark green eyes stood out to me above all other defined, thin features of his beardless face. Many men in the court considered his unkempt black hair frivolous and rash, but I knew it was merely the consequence of sleepless study and determined examination. His examination of Limoges intrigued me greatly, even if his peers scoffed at such unusual logic. There is only one perplexity that still interests me today. Gray spoke of the details and events on those marshy fields, and of details so precise and cleanly spoken that could only be possibly relayed by someone who had been there. But such silliness is to be dismissed. Many paintings exist of it. But Edgar and I became fast friends. Who would have thought? Eve Farrell marrying a commoner in nearly 7 years after meeting. His charismatic ways, his education, his precise and logical demeanor, and his coldness. It all blended into something perfect, something I had been looking for.
Alright. Oifa. Aif? God damn it, I just heard it pronounced and I've completely forgotten. Aoife? Aoife. Oif. I shall call her Oif. Oifa. I don't know. Strange French woman. Ah, right. It's just stepping in weeds, making a strange rattling sound. I always used to get freaked out walking through the bush around my house and hearing that sound. It was an irrational fear because we do not have rattlesnakes in New Zealand, but I was just like, shit, rattlesnake, panic! But it was unfounded panic, of course. So, too much to explore. I don't know if I should go up here. I can't go up there, so I will not explore there. It's very interesting. But what does it all mean? Alright, more reading. 1919. The nearby town of Burke is the only source of my congregation, so when they wrote me today after Gray visited them, I knew they were speaking to me in confidence and trust of a grave importance. They expressed their concerns over his attitudes his attitude with them, and his discouragement of worshipping our Lord. Grey invited them to move to the colony, or to leave the island entirely. They asked Grey to leave their town, and he complied. But he warned them all that upon his departure, that I am not finished with this discussion. I pray ceaselessly for the townsfolk of Burke. Jeremy Orne and Eric Starn are true friends of mine. When they came to me in absolute fear and panic, I knew something had to be done to ensure their safety. The underground catacombs, leading through the mountain range towards the colony itself, have been retrofitted to allow for easy transportation. Many of the graves and sepulchres have been stacked and reoriented, and a concrete path has been paved towards a newly fit bridge. Anyone looking to escape from Burke and to hide from Grey's inevitable wrath may find shelter there. The entrance to the catacombs is located behind the church. Father Cromwell. They are all dead. Everyone. This is a year later, 1920. Everyone. Edgar Grey and a contingent of military men stormed the town. They burned everything, killed everyone, and I could hear powder kegs detonating throughout the night that more than likely caved in the mining entrances forever. A messenger informed me earlier that it was due to treason, with the townsfolk informing the colony of Troy that Newport was preparing war with them. A bold lie. I find it funny a political cover story was handed down to a mere priest. But whatever action they truthfully took against Grey, it could never have deserved death and destruction. I hate that man. I will return home to America, where my wife and child await me. Father Cromwell.
According to that manuscript, the only way out of the greater forest was through a catacomb entrance in the back of the church. The main road's bridge to Newport had collapsed.
Okay, catacombs, here I come. But is this the right way? I'm thinking invisible wall syndrome is going to rear its head soon. Yeah, that doesn't seem likely. I'm gonna go stand on the roof of the church, if I can. No, I can't. Alright, so evidently I've gone the wrong way. Hopefully the entrance to the catacombs is invisible wall syndromed right there. What's this? Is this the catacombs? No. Just a hole in the ground. It's rather difficult to see with all this darkness around. So I probably was going the right direction originally. It seems that way. So that's invisible walled. This isn't. Alright, here we go. Whoa. Cool. It's a pretty sexy looking mine. Alrighty.
I took the lantern with me to guide my way.
Yep, this is gonna be real creepy. Ew. This is super awesome. For being super OW! Why you throw a gravestone at me? It's super awesome for being really, really creepy. Here lies Dorian Cullum. No, 1915. Who cast the first stone or something? Bollocks. I should have read that quicker. So he has no date of birth, but he died in 1915. Don't put the lantern out. Is there another lantern? Shit. I need that! Here lies Ebra White, 1890 to 1925. May God have mercy on her soul. Well, well. Man, this is awesome. Can I relight the lantern from this fire, perhaps? Or, you know, get singed eyebrows instead? I'm beginning to think that there's something a little bit more sinister than just a malevolent fish orchestrating things now. The fish hasn't seemed to have turned up again since part 1. The gate appears to be controlled by water weights. So we need to release the water. And my lantern is useless. Which is unfortunate, because I can't see shit! And I'm pretty sure running into the fire is not the correct course of action. What do we got over here? Ooh, glowworms. Well, not glowworms, more like firefly kind of things, but not fireflies. Alrighty, here we go. Okay, don't know why I'm carrying this around still. Can I pick up one of those ones? Nope, I've lost my lantern forever. Great. And now the monsters are in the darkness with me. That ain't creepy at all. Do remember that there's this.
The noise stirred them from their slumber. I had to escape.
Yes, well if you just pull the lever, you can escape! There we go. Right, getting the hell out of here now. Whoa, hello, Baconators. Yep, nope. I think time to run fast is what is shite. Let me out, goddammit! Tuck and roll, tuck and roll! Come on! We're through! Don't chase me, please.
I saw a light at the end of the bridge. It was my way out to the beaches.
Yeah, this ain't really a bridge. This is more a fucking hell. There's a bit precarious. But I think we're safe now.